This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another video. And in this video, I am going to be talking about the topic of get used to being invisible and use it to your advantage. Now, I know that there is a lot of people out there that feel isolated, that feel alone, that think that nobody cares about them or cares about their opinions, feeling ostracized and socially outcast and uh, made to feel as though they are awkward and they feel as though they're by themselves. And one thing that I want to say is that you're not alone. There's a lot of people in your situation, including myself. However, I understand at this point that I have an opportunity for further self development on who it is that I am as a person and to become a better and become the best version of myself. And I want to talk about 9 points that I have to make as far as getting used to being alone and using that to my advantage. And the one thing that I've been learning is management. And I've talked about financial management, but financial management is only one piece to what I would term as life management. And financial management is one piece, but then you also have anger management and understanding how to manage your emotions. Some people call it emotional intelligence, and knowing how to act around certain people, understanding how to read the room, understanding how to read people's actions, so you don't get taken advantage of. And if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, understanding those red flags and not ignoring them, even though you may have been trained through your life to ignore certain red flags, but you start to develop that sense of, hey, this is a red flag, let me not ignore it and go off of this instinct that's going off in my head, so I don't have to deal with some severe consequences of not trusting my instincts. So you have that. Managing weight, that's something that I've struggled with, that I'm working on. uh Managing my eating habits, time management, managing what I do with my time, who I allow to be around me, uh, what materials I read, what programs that I watch, especially on YouTube. It's all about managing what it is, and if I know that I disagree with something, uh, I can still like look at it and learn from it. But if I find myself getting emotionally upset and attached to this topic in a negative way, it's up to me to disengage with that topic. And that's a part of time management. That's a part of anger management, and that's something that I had to learn. As I've been developing myself over the past few years to become the best version of myself, is that it's up to me to manage that. Also, I talked about my disability, and I've had to learn pain management because I still need to go to the gym and work out so I can be mobile, especially in the future. So I had to learn pain management, knowing how hard to push myself, when to back off, when to push myself harder, you know, when to test my limits, when not to test my limits. And it's still a trial and error process that I'm learning. And I'm starting to get better at it because one thing that I've started to do is to go to the gym with my father, and he's helped me with learning how to take it easy. I don't have to go at it hard all the time. I don't have to try to push myself to the limit all the time. Like, it's okay sometimes to have just a light workout and not overstress myself. Because it's a marathon, it's not a race, and that's one thing that I had to learn, is that even though I thought I was doing it as a marathon before, like, I had to change the way that I was thinking. Like, I was actually racing every time that I would push myself past the limit when I was going to the gym prior. So I'm learning how to manage that. I'm seeing actually I'm seeing better results this time around than I was last time because I'm actually giving my body a chance to recover and repair itself from all the tears that I do when I'm in the gym. And the second point is that this time alone is time to solve my own problems and my own issues. Uh, and doing that means that I have time to work on my debts. I have time to work on my savings and investments. I have time to do research on different businesses that I would like to do or possibly do in the future. Or if I want to move, to start making a plan on what it is that I need to do in order to do that and come up with a strategy in order to succeed in that. And even small goals like, oh, I want to go on vacation in a few months, like putting up money for that, planning the vacation, booking the trips, making sure that my visa is in the system, uh, making sure I had the plane tickets, making sure I had the hotels, knowing certain places that I want to go when I get there, doing the research for that. So it's all about managing and planning and coming up with a way to, get what it is that I'm looking for, and that goes into my other plan is developing a plan and executing it. It's one thing to develop a plan, but then it's another thing to actually put it into fruition, to execute it. And sometimes plans don't go the way that you want it to go. But the fact of the matter is that you actually put forth the effort and you actually put forth the effort into seeing that plan go into place. You will learn a lot from that. Like every loss isn't just a loss, it's a learning experience. Like I talked about before, like I have a failed business under my belt now, and I learned a lot from starting that business and failing at it, that it takes a good amount of money to make money. And if you try to start a business and you don't have any money, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fail. Sometimes you have certain opportunities that come into place that can help you out with starting a business. Like I knew a guy who he worked for a phone company, a major phone company, and I don't want to say what it is because it'll give uh he would know who I'm talking about, but I'm not trying to put his business too much out there. But he worked for a major phone company and they paid for him to go to college to get his MBA. And he was supposed to learn how to help people with that was trying to startup stores, learning about the different paperworks that they would need in order to be successful and to help them out with that and developing a plan with the person. So that's what he was supposed to be learning while he was in school. Well, unfortunately, before he graduated from college, he ended up getting laid off from his job. And he had a wife. She was pregnant with their first child at the time. So he had to figure out a plan on how to overcome this setback that he had. But he was bestowed upon this knowledge of how to start up a business. And he used that knowledge from not only like somebody helping him out, but he also had the knowledge of what it is that he needed to do. And so he was able to start opening up his own phone stores. And he's been successful in that. He has several phone stores. He actually opened up his own food restaurant recently, and he's successful. He has a successful marriage. He has 3 children now. He's doing real good for himself. And sometimes things happen where it doesn't go as planned, but if you persevere and if you take the knowledge that you do have, you can always become successful. And then he also has mentors to help him out when he needs to think about future developments. And so, he was able to, adapt to his situation. Another point that I want to make is that this time, when you developing yourself, you developing your plan, and you doing the self-reflection and the changes and making the changes that need to be made, you have no pressure and no need to try to impress others. Like, you're already outcasted. You already have been rejected. You already been ostracized. So this is for you specifically. It's not for trying to get women. It's not trying to look cool. It's not trying to be the biggest and baddest. This is totally up to you. You were left alone for a reason, and the Most High does not put you alone just for no reason at all. It's something that you're supposed to do with this time, and it's something that it's a way that you're supposed to develop yourself to prepare you for that next step. So this is all about you. This is all about you taking the time to do what it is that you need to do to develop yourself in order to become the best version of what it is that you need to become. And so you're building your wealth when you do this. And this is the next point. You're building your wealth when you do this. And wealth, in my opinion, is also equal to worth. And it's not only worth within a society, it's also self-worth. And it's not also just financial wealth, it's self-wealth. It's wealth of knowledge. It's wealth of understanding. It's wealth of being able to tell somebody else information that can help them along the way. So it's about building up your resources, not only financially, but mentally, physically, and spiritually. So when you become of that age of where you can pass along these tools, because you will get to a point where you have to pass the tools of what you've learned down to the next generation, even if it may not be your own seed. Eventually, you're going to have to pass on these nuggets of knowledge. And when you do that, you become valuable to the community in which you live in. And see, a lot of men don't understand that when you develop yourself first and you develop your self worth and your self wealth, you become an asset, not only to yourself, but to others. And you don't have to deplete yourself either, because you will have a vast amount of it to where you can give it out. And then you at that point to where you give it out freely, and you're not worried about the money that's coming in, because you've covered yourself completely and financially and mentally, to where you know when to cut certain people off, because they aren't doing nothing but becoming a crutch or anchor to what it is that you're trying to do. So you've built yourself up enough to where you can start giving out, and then that energy will start coming back to you, and then you will be living an even more abundant life. And that's what a lot of people talk about, especially prosperity preachers. But what they don't give you, along with, oh, just give it out and then it'll return come back to you in tenfold. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to build yourself up enough to where you can give enough to where it can satisfy others, where it doesn't damage yourself. So when they develop themselves, they can come back to you and pour into you if they choose to do so. You see, you're supposed to be able to give freely and expect nothing in return. And so when you expect nothing in return and it comes back to you, it's like, wow, I didn't even expect this. That's the way that it's supposed to go. So you have to develop yourself first. That's what these churches aren't telling you. They just telling you to be docile, naive, uh, gullible, and give all your resources away when you're still in the struggle mode, so they can live comfortably. But they not talking about giving anything back to you when you're down and when you're in need. You see, you cannot allow this society to trick you. You can't. I've been there before. I've been duped. I've been tricked. So that's the reason why I talk about things like this. You are the captain of your soul. You are the master of your fate. You have to take control of what it is that's going on in your life to where you're successful, where you have enough resources in order to help other people. But until you get to that point, focus on yourself. And we're saying that's understanding God's plan for your life. You see, the Bible talks about building a solid foundation in God. And the only way you can build a solid foundation in God is to use the wisdom that God has given you. You see, there are certain people that want you to be down, that want you to be almost out, that want you to deplete all of your resources so you can help them develop themselves to a higher degree or develop their name to a higher degree. And that's the game. That's the game in a nutshell. And you have to understand that that's the game. And you have to understand that you have to stand firm and believing in yourself and doing what it is you need to do in order to build yourself up to move to the next level. Because it's a lot of competition out here. And there are a lot of people that might see a light in you and they feel intimidated by that light and they don't want to see you make it to that next level. You see, and they'll give you little trinkets here and there to give you a boost of naive confidence so they can tear you back down. And then it's like, damn, you back at square one because you did not fully develop yourself first. And God helps those who helps themselves. It's a reason why that saying has been around for generations because it's true. Help yourself first. Then worry about everybody else. But you have to come first. And another point of being alone is that you have to start quieting that negative self talk that you give, those negative thoughts that you have about yourself. And you have to start being more positive about your situation in your life, regardless of what it is or how it is you find yourself in. You have to figure out a way to be more positive about yourself and stop beating yourself up. And it might not be going the way that it is that you want it to go. But if you're making the right sacrifices, if you're making the right choices, or if you find yourself making the wrong choices and the wrong sacrifices, that's an opportunity for you to learn from your mistake and then to do things the correct way. Figure out what it is that you have to do in order to make it to that next level. And that's one thing that I've learned. Like I've made a lot of sacrifices and I thought they were good sacrifices and they turned out not to be good sacrifices. The same thing with Cain and Abel. You see, like Cain made a sacrifice to God, but it wasn't the correct sacrifice. So that's the reason why it didn't get accepted. Abel, on the other hand, he made the correct sacrifice. Now, you can react like Cain did and be jealous of Abel and kill your brother, or you can learn and ask your brother what it is that he did in order to get his sacrifices accepted, and then work upon your sacrifices for the next time and see if it'll be accepted that time. And it might not be, and you might have to do it more and more over and over again to figure out what it is that is your niche in life and then do it. It's simple as that. Like it, and I'm not saying that it's easy because it's difficult. Like it's going to be some days that you're going to be frustrated. There's going to be some days that you feel like giving up, but hey, God put you here for a reason. You have to man or woman up, depending on who it is that's listening to this, and do what it is that you need to do. I mean, nobody is going to hold your hand in this life. Like some people might help you out for a little bit of while, but they have their own issues and their own burdens, and you can't expect for those same people to keep on helping you out in your life. Nobody is going to hold your hand in this life, and life isn't fair. Sometimes those people that you might need help from, they might give you something that you don't like, because they tired of helping you out and they want you to go your own way, and they're trying to send you a message, and it's up to you to pick up on that message. And with that being said, you have to learn how to accept not being accepted so you don't fall into the same pitfalls when you become successful. And this is something that Man of Tomorrow talked about. Like, you have people that sacrifice correctly, that work hard to build themselves up to where they're successful, but then they fall into those same pitfalls and those same traps that they were under previously before they became successful, trying to impress other people that did not like them, and then ended up back at square one. And you do not want to find yourself back at that point, regardless of who you are or what situation that you're at. You don't want to fall back after working so hard to progress. And that's something that I had to learn. And I had to learn that all the times that I fell off or I fell back or I fell down, those were nothing but learning lessons. And I was able to get back up and keep putting one foot in front of the other. You know, I may stumble here or there, but I'm still on my path to finding my purpose. And this is part of me finding my path to my purpose doing these videos, because I wouldn't be doing them if it wasn't. And whoever find this video, it was meant for you to view this video because you're looking for your purpose. Just for you to make it to this 21 minute and 47 mark with me means that, you know, you're working on yourself and that you're trying to look for answers. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I will say from trial and error and learning from experience that I learned that, hey, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be hard. I'm going to trip up sometimes, but I have to keep on this path because I have a mission that I have to fulfill. And with that being said, I'm concluding this topic of using this time that you feel like you're alone in order to build yourself up and use it to your advantage, that invisibility. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. This is Just Bob Bowman, and I'm out.